reminding me. We're going to record this session so that in case something happens to my signal from the mountains, um, you will be given the link to where you can access the presentation. And so we begin our session today. Again, welcome to all of you who are here with us from all over the world. We're very happy to be with you, our friends from Portugal, from Sri Lanka, from Australia, from all over the Philippines. We're going to talk about something that is very important, which is urgency of character formation, strategies, and proven methods. Let me introduce myself because this is our first session of this whole week. My name is Emmanuel Rentoy, and I finished from the University of Santo Tomas, the premier Catholic university in the Philippines. And I have a double degree in AB journalism and literature and an MA in creative writing. And I'm finishing my PhD in literature. And I founded a school in Iloilo City called Westbridge School. It's an all boys school. And it is now one of the top schools in Region 6 in a province down south of the Philippines. And I served as principal of intermediate school and vice principal of high school. I was told our signal is getting intermittent. I'm praying that this is just temporary. I also served as vice principal of high school. But in the last 11 years, I have been spending more time going around the Philippines, reaching out to teachers, parents, community leaders, trying to champion character formation, because I see that this is where the crisis is. The young people, especially, need character formation now more than ever. And so I started here in Asia. I started work in the Philippines and I brought it to Sri Lanka last year when I was there before coming back here, the Center for the Fourth and Fifth Hours Asia, because our belief is every human being, aside from knowing reading, writing, arithmetic, should have respect and responsibility. Respect and responsibility. And one of the things I do is bring experts to the Philippines to reach out to teachers so that they can share with us their expertise. I brought these experts on character formation, Dr. Hal Urban, Fred Jones, expert in motivation, Harry Wong, our expert in classroom management, who is going to be our main source for our session on better classroom management. And then understanding the digital natives, Dr. Ian Jukes. I brought him also to the Philippines. And every now and then, with the help of my students, we would organize chastity conference like this session with Leah Darrow and Chris Stefanik with 15,000 young people in World Trade Center, Manila. And of course, the number one speaker on purity, chastity, modesty, Jason Everett, who spoke to more than 6,000 people in PICC, 8,000 people. And last week, in spite of the pandemic, because we are in this lockdown, we had online session with one of the top authors on character formation, Dr. Michelle Barba, who talked about how to raise mentally healthy kids during troubled times. And there were more than 700 teachers and parents who joined us for that 2-day session last week. So today, I'm very excited to share this time with you talking about the urgency of character formation. This is an urgent matter because the young people are totally different. And I think it's the same everywhere, as in Sri Lanka, as in Portugal, as in Australia, as in Cebu, Manila, Philippines. The young people are changing. They are not the same anymore. I mean, it's a totally different generation of young people. Values are changing, mindsets are changing, making character formation the most urgent thing we need to do as teachers, as educators. And so we will spend time. But before we do that, I think a thank you, a expression of gratitude is in place for all of you, dear teachers. I know many of you have been struggling. I know many of you have been having a hard time ever since the start of the pandemic. This is not we were trained to do. I mean, let's admit it. Let's admit it. Our training is to be there inside the classroom, face to face with our students, making a difference in their lives, impacting them, teaching them character through our dealings, direct dealings with them. But I know many of you have been having a tough time. I know some teachers who even quit and left, looked for other ways of being able to survive. But you held on to your task as teachers, to your job as educators. And so I'd like to share with you this video. Um, for all of you, dear teachers, thank you for continuing to make a difference in the lives of your students in spite of the challenges that we have faced, that we are facing. So, dear teachers, thank you. Thank you very much for sticking it out. Thank you very much for continuing with your task as teachers in spite of the great challenges that we are facing. I know some teachers who, after 2 months of, no, even just 2 weeks of online classes, they started getting exhausted, exasperated, frustrated with like the problems we're encountering here now. Sometimes the signal becoming intermittent, and I know how difficult it is, how challenging it has been. And so, first, before we get into the main topic, I just have to say, in behalf of all the parents, all the students, they may not have been able to say it to you. Thank you very much for sticking it out, and we hope you will continue on in spite of the challenges. Sometimes when I'm addressing parents, I entitle this presentation as Raising Children of Character in a Wired World, because really this is the challenge right now. The young people are growing up with this wired mentality. There's even a book entitled The Rewired Brain. The brain of the young people is changing. The way they think, the way they see the world, and the way they react to things in the world, it's a totally different ball game. It's a different world altogether. You know, you've seen a video like this. The young people today learn how to use the gadgets even before they learn how to walk and talk.
Answer it.
Okay, so that's how the young people now are. They learn how to walk and talk even before they learn how to use the gadgets, even before they learn how to walk and talk. The United States research will tell us 30% of the kids start using a gadget even before, start using a gadget while still in diapers. That's the statistics in the United States. 30% of the kids start using a gadget while still in diapers. And it's not going to get any better because the technology experts are just coming out with more and more apps for younger and younger kids. And the gadget is here to stay. It's not going to disappear. That's why we are told by Dr. Warlick, we are preparing these young people for a future that we cannot even clearly describe. We don't know how the world will look like 10 years from now. We don't know how the world is going to be 10 years from now. And yet, that is what we are preparing the young people for that future that we cannot even fully imagine yet. Because the 21st century is here. It's not the future, it's not coming. But here's a good news. You see, well, we're having trouble with our signal, right? um, okay, people are getting uh, signal of one. How is it now? You can hear me? Yeah? Okay, better. Well, I have to continue praying. Okay, so researchers are telling us one of the effects of these um, technocentric lifestyle of the young people is empathy is dying. Empathy is greatly affected. 47% decrease in the empathy of young people. And it's true, because if a kid spends the whole day in front of the gadget, not with kids, as you and I spent our free time going out of the streets and playing with our friends. When I was younger, we would climb trees, we would swim in the lake, we would go around. I spent time with friends. But today, a kid can be spending the whole day with his gadget, not dealing with other human beings, but with this virtual reality game. And it can be like that. And if that is how he spends his time, where now is the kid going to learn how to deal with other human beings? So this is one of the crises, and this is one of the reasons character formation now more than ever is an urgent thing. And so we look into what else? Well, here's another reason. There is a certain culture of hate that is being propagated by media, social media. You just spend time watching primetime news, and you will hear about murders and killings and corruption, stealing, crimes, and all these are affecting the young people's mindset. All these are fostering a certain culture of hate. It's not helping that the young people are exposed to all these things at such a young age, younger and younger age. And so I'd like to share with you, my dear fellow teachers, I have been a classroom teacher for 34 years. I have not left the classroom. And I want to share with you the principles I believe in, which will explain why we're going to get into character formation as we are going to discuss. First, you and I, whatever subject we are teaching, we are in charge of forming character. We are in charge of forming the character of the young people. Sometimes I get invited to speak around the Philippines in one school or another. And when the school learns that my subject is the topic of the talk is character formation, they are going to send to participate the guidance counselor, the values education teachers. And then I ask, wait, but where are the math teachers? They too should form character. Where are the science teachers? They too should be in charge of forming character. So, all of us, a good educator is concerned about forming character of the students entrusted to our care. Here's something you will hear again and again this next 5 days. Stop teaching subjects and start teaching children. Stop teaching subjects and start teaching students. We have been hired by our school not just to cover the curriculum, that is important, that is essential, but we are hired by our school especially to form minds, mold character, and raise these young people entrusted to our care to become good adults. Here's another principle I have: character formation is not just another subject. Here in the Philippines, the government is talking about bringing back good manners and right conduct as a subject, GMRC. And many people are celebrating. Sure, but this is not just another subject. It is what every good educator is supposed to do. Here is another principle: education is not just a matter of covering the curriculum. The success of a teacher is not just to be able to say, I'm such a good teacher, I finished the book. I'm such a good teacher, I covered the curriculum. That is essential, that is important, but that is not what makes us good educators. The success of a good educator is to be able to say at the end of the school year, I am a good teacher. I made an impact in the lives of my students. I am a good educator. My students are better human beings because I taught them math. I taught them science. I taught them character. I made them grow up to be smart and good people. Not just smart. The pandemic has shown us all the things the young people need to learn are already in the internet. The young people, if they need to learn a subject, they can go to the internet and there will be thousands of pages to choose from, whatever subject it is. But the internet cannot teach them character, hard work, patience, kindness, respect, responsibility. So we see more clearly than ever the young people need us now more than ever, not because of subjects like math, science, and English, but especially how to make sense of the world that they're living in. Here's another principle, my dear fellow teachers. The only effective way to teach character is through the powerful example of our life. And this is the reason why I say, science teachers, you too are in charge of forming the character. You teach professionalism to your students in the way you come to the classroom every single day professionally. When you come to the classroom, showing them hard work in the way you prepare for your lessons, you are teaching them hard work. In the way you treat the students with kindness, in the way you treat them with patience. Every moment we are with our students is a moral moment. It's a moral moment when the young people, the young students, are supposed to be learning something moral, how to react in a frustrating situation. They are observing us how we react to situations, how we hold our temper when we are already uh, losing our patience with our students. The way we treat our students, that is teaching character to our young people. So, this is a very important principle we have to keep in mind, and it will make sense, therefore, why we talk a lot later on about the power of our example. We teachers are very powerful influence on the students. We have to realize this. You may not realize it sometimes, but that moment when you are reacting to a frustrating situation is what is going to be remembered by the students for a long, long time. And finally, here it is. The teacher is the most important teaching tool. It's not the textbook. It's not the, sometimes I go to some schools and they say, we will be able to teach better if only there is a video projector in every classroom. If only we have better laptops in every classroom. If you can afford all those things, fantastic. But they are not the most important teaching tool. The most important teaching tool is the life of the teachers, the example of the teachers, the role modeling of the teachers. That is what is most important. And really, the school is only as good as its teachers. It's not the campus. It can help, it can add to the reputation. But when students talk at home with their parents, they talk about the teachers. They talk about how sir reacted in the class today, how mom expressed her frustration in the class because half the class did not submit the assignment, and how the teacher reacted to that situation is what the students are going to mention over dinner at home. And therefore, the parents are going to judge the school according to what they hear from the students. Here is now the crisis. Look at what is happening among the young people today. And this is true as here in the Philippines, as in Sri Lanka, as in Australia, as in Portugal. Look at what the young people have to contend with: video games addiction. I mean, according to research, this is the most natural thing. The young people today are subjected to this temptation of being addicted, if not to video games, to gadgets, to social media, to Facebook and TikTok and Instagram and Twitter. The number of hours they can be spending scrolling. And then we have the problem of violence in media. I mentioned earlier primetime news, and all the people, young and old, witness or watch this during prime time. Murders, killings, crimes all over the world, shooting, campus shooting, people dying left and right because of criminals. And then in the United States, the research says by the time a kid turns 13 years old, by the time a kid turns 13, he would have witnessed 18,000 murders. 18,000 murders by the time he turns 13. From primetime news, from Netflix series, HBO series like Game of Thrones, from movies, from TV shows, from video games. The violence that the young people are exposed to. And then there is a problem of pornography, and the Philippines is dealing with this as a major problem. I'm going to talk more about that. And with the hours that the young people spend online, on television, on cable television, they are subjected to hundreds and hours of advertisements, commercials that all talk about satisfy your thirst, just do it, enjoy, uh, hedonism and materialism. A proof of this is I have many students who are not satisfied unless they have the latest iPhone. They have the latest gadget. They have the latest console, game console. So all these advertisements that they are subjected to, all of them are contributing to developing a certain sense of materialism, hedonism. And that's not all. Here are more challenges that the young people are subjected to. There is a problem of religious indifference. According to research, young people are losing faith. They don't look at religion the way the older generation looked at God, with fear, with love, with devotion. Attitude is changing. And then the problem of divorce all over the world. Alcoholism. I have met high school students who, when they go to parties, when they go to proms, for example, their concept is to enjoy it, they should at least get tipsy with the liquor. They should at least get a bit of, not fully drunk, but just a bit. If they don't, then the party is an epic failure. It's not fun. It's incomplete. and then the culture of softness, and then moral relativism, and then the false heroes that Hollywood keeps on presenting the young people with, and addiction of all forms, of all types. So, my dear fellow teachers, here's what I always tell teachers. If you have a student coming inside your classroom acting like a spoiled brat, I know it's politically incorrect to use that term, but you know what I mean. If you have a student entering your classroom acting like a softy, we call it here, with very little character, don't get mad at the kid. He is a victim. She is a victim of the environment that he happens to be growing up in. She needs you more than anyone there in the classroom. That's why they come inside the classroom. It's more than just to learn how to subtract, to add, to spell, to form sentences and paragraphs. They come inside our classroom because they need to learn how can they cope with all these assaults of society, of the environment. We need more patience than ever. Those of you who, like me, have been inside the classroom for decades, we have seen the change in character among our young people. We have seen how the young generation today have become softer, less toughness in them, less character. It simply means now more than ever, character formation has become more urgent than ever. Here in the Philippines, we are coping with this big problem of social media. I know it's the same everywhere, but this addiction to TikTok. I know some students who would spend hours and hours to produce those 15-second TikTok videos. TikTok algorithm is designed to foster the desire to have more followers, the desire to have hundreds and thousands of likes. That's why they even celebrate milestones like that. 1 million likes total from all their videos. And I know some students, some teenagers who would spend hours, literally, especially when they get into cosplay, costume play. You know, they will produce a 15-second video in TikTok that they would spend 2 hours putting on makeup and putting on their costume. And it's very creative. And it can even be very entertaining. And if you tell that kid, why are you spending so much time? He's going to shut off and not listen to you because you just do not understand. That's why sometimes we adults, we older people need to understand what is happening to these young people. Why do they spend so much time investing a lot of effort and in some cases, even resources to be able to produce those short videos that they post in TikTok, that they share in their Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter accounts as a way of getting more likes and getting more followers. Mindsets that have been shaped by social media. This is what we are dealing with now. In the Philippines, sometimes we are described as the social media capital of the world, with, according to the latest statistics, 60 million Facebook accounts. Some of them fake, some of them um, people with two or three different Facebook accounts. And this is what is eating up a lot of time of the young people. And it's not helping that we are in the situation of the pandemic. Everyone is at home. And now young people, parents have a harder time supervising the technology use of the young people because they can easily say, I'm doing assignment. I need to do this project. And now the parents are at a loss. What can they do? They don't know if their young kid is telling the truth, or it's just an escape, or it's just a lie to be able to spend more time in the internet, in Facebook, in Twitter, in Instagram. So here's another very important reason why character formation has become far more urgent than ever. And you know this, my dear fellow teachers. We see it everywhere. And I'm talking of the whole world, not just the Philippines. Highly sexualized culture that the young people are exposed to in Netflix, in Twitter, in Instagram, in social media, in television shows, um, highly sexualized culture in the movies that they watch, in the television shows that are even blockbuster, um, with millions of viewers, MTVs that capitalize on what is salacious and sensuous, and MTVs, billboards, magazines, websites, Twitter, which does not have censorship really, certain apps that make accessing pornography or sex for that matter very easy for the young people. This is all bringing about a certain crisis among the digital generation. And this is why I think on Thursday we're going to talk about how then do we teach these young people, the digital natives, grit, resilience, and empathy. Digital addiction has become a reality. Unless the parents are in control, unless the parents have systems in place at home in the use of the gadgets, digital addiction is a reality. Let's put it in concrete terms. It's digital addiction when the young person starts lying about the use of the gadget. There are good families would have rules, house rules about the use of technology. Some good parents will tell their kids no more accessing of internet or even no more cell phone after 10 in the evening, 11 in the evening. And you can have a kid waking up at 12, at 1 a.m., at 2 a.m. to surf, to watch videos, and they have to do that because the parents, if they catch them, then they are breaking rules. That's a form of digital addiction, when they are ready to forgo with rules to satisfy that craving. And then a certain fostering of this certain attitude of being self-centered and vain. I mean, really, all of us get surprised at what young people post in Facebook, in Instagram, in Twitter. Sometimes you can have a student with 150 pictures of her face in her Facebook account, in her Instagram account. I mean, why? Um, the, well, because that's how to get more likes or followers or comments. uh, this is the kind of culture mindset that this technology driven generation has produced. When you turn on Facebook, when you log on to Facebook, what does Facebook ask you? What do you have in mind? I mean, Facebook encourages you. Let the world know what you think, what you have in mind, how you feel. That's fostering of self-centeredness and fostering of vanity. And I know young people, if they don't get the number of likes that they are craving for, some of them get affected. How come my friend has 18,000 followers in TikTok, and I cannot even go beyond 100? How come this person who posts senseless things in YouTube has 20,000 followers, and I cannot even go beyond 50? And then they start feeling something is wrong with me, something is wrong with my personality, with my character, and then they get into depression. We never had to talk about depression some years back. Teachers never had to have training on how to go about dealing with students who may be going through depression. Today, schools are desperately looking for seminars on how we can retain the mental health of our young people. It was a surprise for us to get 700, more than 700 participants to that conference last week with Dr. Michelle Borba, raising mentally healthy kids during troubled times. We were surprised to get many participants. because well, one is the sessions were in the morning, 10 to 12 in the morning for 2 days, and people were at work. But many are looking for ways. What can we do to help the young people to take care of their mental health? Because we are dealing now with more and more cases of depression, students who slash their wrists, students who think of suicide simply because they did not get into their choice of university, a student who wants to commit suicide because the girlfriend broke up with him. The- and this, I know you have heard of many cases like this, either directly from among your students or student of your fellow teachers, students in your schools, or students in other schools where you know some friends who are teaching there. Teen suicide is a reality. It's a phenomenon that for the first time in the history of mankind, we are dealing with teen suicides. And I'm not just talking of the United States. I have seen cases even here in the Philippines, articles appearing like this: young people crying for help, mental illness, suicide cases rising among the young people. This is the Philippines, and I know it's the same everywhere. And then teen pregnancy. A Catholic school asked my help 2 years ago. Mr. Rentoy, we need help here because one of our grade 11 students, 16 years old, got pregnant. And the worst part is the teachers, this is pre-pandemic, and therefore it was classroom setting. The teachers never realized that she was pregnant. And worse, the parents didn't even realize that she was pregnant until December 23, when they had to rush her to the hospital and she gave birth, and 16 years old. And this is happening everywhere. Let me show you a news article that is very troubling for us in the Philippines. There is an agency called Population Commission. And look at the article. The head of POPCOM, the Population Commission on Population and Development, clarified on Friday that about 40 to 50 Filipino children aged 10 to 14 years old give birth every week, not every year as previously reported, but every week. 40 to 50, 10 to 14 years old give birth. This is troubling. And as teachers who are second parents, who are concerned about the values, the virtues of our students, we need to stop and think, where are we going wrong? Why is this happening among the young people? What else could we have done? Can we do so that we address crises like this? And God forbid that they start thinking about abortion. Unfortunately, here in the Philippines, the abortion proponents are using that figure, that statistics: 10 to 14 years old, 40 to 50 of them giving birth every week. They are now using that as an argument to, we have to legalize abortion. It's absurd. We have to allow the young people to murder the baby inside their womb. The Philippines is one of the last countries that still prohibits abortion, because it's in our constitution: the state shall protect life from conception. And now there are proponents of abortion who are trying to push it here to legalize abortion on the basis of this. And then pornography. Here's what Pornhub says: the Filipinos ranked number one in spending most time on Pornhub. And this is for the last 7 years. For 7 straight years after 2021, the Philippines continues to be the top uh, spender of time in Pornhub. And that is a concern. First, in time spent on site for fifth year in the running, this is 2 years ago, and for the seventh year for this. for this year. Philippines is in top 10 of countries with most searches for coronavirus on Pornhub. I mean, these are all concerns that we should have. And I think it's not going to improve because cell phones for younger and younger people are just getting more and more available. I mean, you can have a kid like this whose cell phone is more sophisticated than what I'm using, than what the older people are using. And when I see a kid like this, so young, okay, my internet got a bit disconnected. Anyway, if you have a kid like this, I see a kid like this who has a sophisticated cell phone. I get a bit upset and irritated because I remember I had to save up from my salaries. I had to sometimes even miss lunch or dinner to be able to buy my first Nokia 3210, and which was around $400 around that time. Here's a kid who has no salary, who has not missed a single meal to be able to have that cell phone, and yet he has a sophisticated cell phone. That brings about, in the mindset of young people, what we are complaining about the young people today. They have a certain sense of entitlement, right? And you hear that from young people. They go to their parents, Dad, Mom, I need a cell phone. I'm the only one without a cell phone in class. Like as if, because everyone has, I should have my own. Or a young kid coming to you, parents, telling you, Mom, Dad, we need high-speed internet. I need it for my project, my homework, my online classes, and my research. And then you're going to say, you keep quiet there, you're just grade one kid, you're talking about projects home. And yet that's how the young people think. They think like they are entitled to these things, they have to have these things, a sense of entitlement that is very strong. Now, my dear fellow teachers, please don't get me wrong. I am not anti technology. We cannot be here together today from all over the world without technology. And technology is here to stay. Don't pray that it will go away. It's here to stay. This tablet the young kid is using is just going to become faster, more colorful, more powerful, brighter, cheaper, thinner, but it's not going to go away. Our job, teachers, parents, is to make sure this kid is in control of technology and not the other way around, which is what I'm seeing among young people today. It's technology that is controlling them. uh, Apple, iPhone, manipulating the mindset of the young people. Don't be satisfied if you have only iPhone 10. You have to go for iPhone 12, the most powerful, the most. That is how marketing, that is how the environment is working. It's technology that is controlling these young people. We have to teach him self-control, temperance, grit, resilience in the face of all these temptations. As I said, technology is here to stay. The companies are just designing more and more apps that are for kids who are still in diapers. And before we know it, you have technology that is available for babies and even the unborn. They will start becoming technocentric. I mean, this is the kind of environment we're living in, where technology is becoming like the what dictates the mindset, the lifestyle, the attitude of the young people. We have a certain pageantry of vanity that we are seeing in the world today. Okay, well, I have been talking for almost an hour, and I think just a little bit of a break for all of you. For those of you who need to go to the washroom, who need to go to get water, I'm going to just show a few videos just as a bit of a rest for all of us. And then when we come back, I will get straight into, okay, what do we do? Give us strategies, give us systems so that we, as teachers in our school, can form the character of our young people. Here are just a few videos to give us a bit of break. Okay, well, I hope that was a good rest for everyone. We will proceed to the second part, which is now talking about strategies. Because, okay, I hope we have seen very clearly, yeah, character formation is a very urgent thing. More urgent than upgrading math. You know, sometimes I go around the Philippines visiting schools and I ask administrators, what are you trying to do as your main thrust, main goals for this year in your school? And I usually hear administrators talking about this year we will improve our math skills. This year, we will build more laboratories. Biology lab will now be separate from chemistry lab. This year, we will improve the English proficiency of our students. I hardly heard, if in fact never heard, administrator telling me, this year, we will equip our teachers with more strategies on how to form character, on how to mold minds, on how to train their kids to be more hardworking, more respectful, more responsible. More hardly do I hear about administrators making character formation a top priority. And this is the main message of the first part. We've got to make character formation a top priority because this is the most urgent thing the young people need today, more urgent than campus improvement. Our teachers have to be equipped with many, many strategies on how they can make this student more respectful, more responsible, kinder, more caring, not bullying, etc. Well, I already gave you the most important strategy earlier. There is no other better way to teach character than through the powerful example of the teacher's life. And therefore, in our teachers' seminars, we should be talking more and more about how can the teachers be more role models. How can they be more role models? Whenever I'm talking to teachers here in the Philippines or there in Sri Lanka or there in San Diego when I spoke or in San Diego or in New York or in Washington, D.C., if I'm talking to teachers, here are three things I never failed to mention. Number one, teachers, you have no right to get mad at your students for submitting homework late, for coming to class late, for submitting their projects late. If you yourself, ma'am, sir, you come to class late, you submit the grades late, you submit your unit plans late. In other words, we teachers cannot demand from our students something that we don't first show by our example. That is the first thing. We've got to make sure we are showing and role modeling character, virtues, professionalism, kindness. Here's the second thing I never fail to mention when I'm with teachers. Teachers, do not ever, ever resort to foul language, bad words, no matter how impatient, frustrated, or even angry you are. Never, ever resort to foul language. Because when we do, our reputation plummets and we lose our effectiveness as agents of character formation. Here's the third thing I never fail to mention when I'm talking to teachers. Teachers, do not ever, ever criticize your school. Do not ever badmouth your school, especially your administrators. Do not ever, ever attack them, criticize them, because our job in the school we're teaching is our main job is to get our students identify themselves with the school. But if we are the very first ones attacking the school, criticizing the administrators, then we would have lost our effectiveness in being able to get the students identify themselves with a school. But as I always tell teachers, but don't worry, you can still be a good teacher in another school, but not there that you have attacked, that you have criticized, that you have bad-mouthed, and that you have spoken badly of. We have to teach the great character strengths by our example, by our direction, by our verbal explanations. Let's move on then. Dr. Michelle Borba is probably the number one authority on character formation on the basis of her 28 best selling books on character formation. The latest of which I told you earlier is Thrivers, How to Raise Mentally Healthy Kids During Troubled Times, which is already available in Amazon, and you can get the digital copy, or and it contains hundreds of strategies on how you can make sure the young people entrusted to your care will still thrive, will be mentally healthy, even with this pandemic and this kind of environment that the young people are growing up in. Here are the 10 tips for raising model kids from Dr. Michelle Borba. Number one, which is what the seminar is all about today, let us commit ourselves. Teachers, stop teaching subjects, start teaching children. Stop just being concerned about covering the curriculum and start really thinking about how can I make an impact in the lives of my students? Because research tells us parents who feel strongly about their kids turning out morally usually succeed because they committed themselves to that effort. And the same research tells us teachers like you and me who feel strongly about our students turning out morally usually succeed because they committed themselves to that effort. I hope that after this session today, that is our mindset. I want to make sure the students entrusted to my care will have kindness, caring, hard work, empathy, and that they are not just going to be smart because I will teach them math, but they're also especially going to become good. Here's what Michelle Borba said. If you really want to raise a moral child, then make a personal commitment to raise one and do not stop until he does. Here's number two strategy, which is not the first time we're talking about it. There is no other better way to teach character except through our example, our moral example in the way we deal with our students. Each day, each day, dear teachers, ask yourself, if my student had only my behavior to watch, what example would he catch? Here's another sad reality about today's world. You and I now have more and more students coming inside our classroom, and they come from broken families or irregular situation where the father is an absentee father or where the mother is the one that is not there, being raised by a single parent. I have nothing against single parents, but you and I just know that it's just not the same. Aside from the fact that it's tougher for that single parent to be able to successfully raise a very good child, a very good person. There are many cases of highly successful parents like that, single parents who were able to raise fantastic children, but it's tougher. And you know this, we know this. And so you and I have more and more students coming inside their classroom, and they come from irregular situation, and they are not looking for math and English and science and biology and chemistry. They're looking for questions to why is life like this? How can they cope with a situation like that at home? Why is why am I like this? I mean, they are asking those fundamental questions more than they are asking about math and science and English. So we have to think more and more about our task as character formators, agents of character formation, more than just being a subject teacher. Number three, we've got to talk about values. Teachers, even if your subject is math, sometimes you need to talk about the headlines of the day, which the young people are talking about among themselves, the main issues in the world today. Know your beliefs and share them, because our values, like purity, like chastity, like humility, the opposite of those are what the young people are hearing in MTVs, in videos, in the television, in the internet. The opposite of our values, those are what the top 20 songs in Spotify are talking about. The opposite of what we believe in. Many times, they are what is being preached in television shows, in movies. So let us not lose by default. Even if your subject has nothing to do with the issues of the day, but sometimes we need to comment about the headlines of the day just to help the young people make sense of what is happening in the world and get the right answers to questions. And that brings me back to every teacher is an agent of character formation. It is not just a subject, it is not just the job of the values education teachers. Number four, use teachable moments. The class wins in the intrams, basketball, intramurals. That is a teachable moment when you can tell them what humility is all about, when you can tell them what it means to be gracious in victory, or the opposite. The class loses in the intramurals volleyball game, basketball game. That is a highly teachable moment when you are going to teach them about what it means to be humble, what it means to be a gracious loser, and what it means to persevere. We look forward to the next competition. We look forward to the next opportunity that we will be able to win. In the end, my dear teachers, you realize every moment we are with our students is a teachable moment. Here's another, although we will talk more about this in the classroom management session, use discipline as a moral lesson, that we don't go around looking for people to punish. Detention for you. I heard you teasing your classmate. Detention for you, 5 minutes. You are punished. You will have to. No, using discipline as a moral lesson is, John, I heard you teasing your classmate. How would you feel if you're the one being teased? That's a moral lesson. And that moment when we are supposed to be disciplining, we are instead teaching a moral lesson. Use discipline as a moral lesson. And more of these when we get into classroom management. Expect moral behavior. You know, I have a strategy with my class. I used it in the University of Asia in the Pacific, in Northfield, in Southridge, in Westbridge, all the schools I taught in, Bannister Academy. Here's what I say before I distribute the test papers during exam day. Before I give the papers to the students, I make an announcement. Okay, class, nothing on top of your table except your ball pen. Okay? And please do not even think about cheating. I expect you to be honest. You will not look around. You will not even talk with your classmates. If you need to ask something, raise your hand, wait for me to go to your desk and ask me. But please don't talk to your classmates, and you will not even think about cheating. It has to come out of our mouth. We expect moral behavior at all times. Number seven, we've got to make the young people do more and more reflection. Research says reflecting is one of the skills young people today are very poor in. They do very little reflection. That's why they can do crazy, impossible, offensive things without realizing it, without even realizing it. And I know why they don't reflect as much. They are subjected to a lot of noise. I mean, reflection happens when you are quiet and in silence. But many young people today are not able to have silence. I know young people, as soon as they get out of the school, they put on the earphones. I know young people who go to bed with the earphones on and the music playing. They, I don't think they can think, reflect, do internal reflection with the noise that they're subjected to. Not to mention the noise of the screen, of the cell phone, of the TV screen, of the tablet screen, of the giant television screen at home. All these are making reflection almost like a luxury for many young people. So, teachers, according to research, one of the things we should be doing, should be making the students do a lot of in our subject is to do reflection. Okay, class, I give you 10 minutes. Write a reflection on the most important things you learned in this unit, you learned in this week that we had classes. Or I'm going to give you 10 minutes. Please write a reflection paper on the most troubling problem you encountered this week. And then they will have to reflect. Any reflection we make them do is a big help for them. Number eight, reinforce moral behavior. We will also talk about this in some strategies that you do not just look for people to punish. When you see somebody doing a good thing, you reinforce it by praising the action, not the person. John, I saw you picking up trash, even if I didn't tell you. Good job. That is what it means to be responsible. Joanna, I saw you lending a ball pen to your classmate. Good job. That's what it means to be kind, to be considerate. Joel, I heard that you helped your classmate who was absent last time. Fantastic. Keep it up. That is what it means to have concern for your classmate. You are reinforcing moral behavior. Joel, Joanna, and John will now think of always doing those things that you have praised, the actions they did. And the others who heard it will start thinking, I have to be doing the same thing. I have to be doing more good deeds like John, Joanna, and Joel. Number nine, prioritize morals daily. You and I have to be known by our students as that teacher who values morals, who is very strong in demanding that we be upright, honest, that we do not cheat, that we are kind, that we have to be known by our students more than just the one who taught me science, English, and math. More than just that, but the one, the teacher who taught me what it means to be a good human being. You know, I've experienced alumni homecoming in Southridge, in Westbridge, in Bannister Academy. And some students are excited to come home after so many years that they have not seen you, and they excitedly come asking around, is Mr. So and so still here? Is Ma'am so and so here? Is Miss so and so here? Because they want to look for you. They want to shake your hands, look you straight in the eyes, and be able to tell you, Ma'am, sir, thank you very much. I am who I am because of you. They want to tell us that. And then here you are, you don't even remember their face. And you say, what is your name again? I don't remember. Who are you? What batch are you? They don't remember. We don't remember their face. We don't remember their names, but they have never forgotten us. And here's something I need to share with you. Alumni homecoming. No student comes back looking for a teacher to tell her, thank you, ma'am, for teaching me subject verb agreement. Thank you, sir, for teaching me factoring. They don't remember the subjects you taught them, but they will never forget how you made them feel inside the classroom. They will never forget how you taught them kindness, caring, hard work. These are the things that they will remember, and these are the things that will make us realize I have made a difference in that student. I have made an impact in the lives of that student. And finally, number 10 tip from Dr. Michelle Borba, teachers, please do not stop talking about the golden rule. When we open the new school year, it's okay to even say, class, there is only one rule in our classroom, and that is the golden rule. Do not do unto others what you would not want others to do unto you. or the upright version. Do unto others what you would want others do unto you. That has to continuously be the rule that guides our life, the golden rule. And it has to be the rule inside the classroom. We have to continuously talk about it. It's not passe. It's not a thing of the past. It continues to be the most logical rule that has to be lived by moral people. Okay, without morals, the young do not learn how to deal with others correctly and appropriately. All the time we've been talking about character, being good, not just smart, but good. What does character consist in? What does it mean to be a good person? Well, let's go to the classical writers. There are many definitions, there are many contents based on different authors, but let's go to the classical writers, well, like Thomas Aquinas or Aristotle or Plato. For them, here are 10 traits of being a person of character. Each one of them is a strategy by itself. How can I develop wisdom among my students, being able to make good judgment? How can I develop justice among my students? How can I develop fortitude, inner toughness? That's why I mentioned earlier, we teach by our example, but the way you teach math is also a way of forming character, especially high standard math, because you're going to teach the students hard work in the way you teach math, that you are going to make them work and work hard to be able to achieve the objective, the goal of the subject. Self control, love, positive attitude, hard work, integrity, gratitude, humility. According to the classical writers, these are the contents of character, what it means to be a man or woman of character. And so we look at each one of them and we can spread it throughout the year. Like some schools I know, there are 10 months in a school year. Each month we can highlight wisdom, another month justice, another month fortitude. That's the virtue of the month system, which I know, for example, Paref Northfield follows, or some other Paref schools, Southridge, or even Bannister Academy. They emphasize one virtue for every month. Okay, here's another strategy. Introduce the young people to appropriate role models, because Hollywood, television, social media, they are all presenting to the young people fake heroes, false heroes. The young people need to see role models. In the Philippines, according to research of McCann Erickson studies, according to research in the Philippines, do you know the two most respected people of the young people? The two types of people that the young people look up to: athletes and celebrities. Athletes and celebrities. And it is very sad because you and I know there are many athletes and there are many celebrities who are not exactly appropriate role models, who are in fact models of how we shouldn't live our life. And yet the young people are looking up to them, successful, very rich, very famous, very popular, and yet they are not the appropriate role models. Whatever subject you're teaching, you can find appropriate role models. Science, there are scientists whose life of perseverance is a very good example of being it's a they are appropriate role models. Thomas Edison, who failed more than 1,000 times to discover the light bulb, that is appropriate role model. That's what it means to have grit, resilience, perseverance, and never giving up, and excellence. Math, there are mathematicians whose lives are spectacular examples of what it means to be a good person. Literature, there are many characters in literature that through whom you can teach the young people wisdom in making good decisions, hard work, toughness, perseverance, grit, characters who can be appropriate role models for the young people. In other words, a person who is teaching for character will teach character directly or indirectly. As I said, whatever subject we are teaching, sometimes we may need to comment about the headlines of the day. It's not a waste of time. It's not a waste of time that for 5 minutes you made the students understood what is wrong with the um, abuse that you heard about in the news last night, or that scandal that broke out in the indirect or direct instruction. Okay, I need to give you some resources that you can consult for other strategies on forming character, as well as this one is on classroom management. The strategies I will share with you are basically all from Dr. Harry Wong, whose best book, First Days of School, is the best resource for classroom management. More than 5 million copies sold, available in Amazon, and fantastic concrete strategies. Um, the reason why we have to highlight classroom management is, how can you form character if you're the kind of teacher I know, I've heard of, who shouts, who screams, who yells, and who uses bad words just to get the students to listen? It's very sad. That's why we need to equip ourselves as teachers on how to be very effective classroom managers, able to form character in the way we handle the class. Here's another fantastic resource that you can consult, and I'm going to share with you many strategies from his book, Teach Like Your Hair is on Fire, by Rafe Esquith, who has been teaching for 28 years, grade 5, in a poor community in Los Angeles, California, in the US, where most of the students end up uh, kicked out, failed, or even jailed, except all the students who passed through his grade 5 class. And why are they successful? Most of them end up in Harvard, Stanford, Yale, and all those top Ivy League schools. Why are they successful? Because he teaches for character, because he has strategies and strategies on how to raise smart and good students, not just smart, but especially good. And I'm going to share with you a number of strategies from Rafe Esquith. And then the other source, if we have time, we'll be able to get into strategies from Hal Urban, author of Lessons from the Classroom, 20 Things Good Teachers Do. And while he says in the title, while it says 20 things good teachers do, the book really has dozens and dozens of strategies. If we're not able to reach his strategies today, we will cover some of them tomorrow in the Kind and Caring Classroom, because they are also means towards creating a kind and caring classroom. So let us get into concrete strategies. Teachers, according to Rafe Esquith, if you are to raise smart and good kids, one of the things we need to develop in them is delayed gratification. The young people have to develop it, especially the digital natives, the digital generation whose um, mindset is like that. No, um, by the way, okay, my internet is becoming okay. My internet got unstable. I hope I'm back. Am I back? I hope I'm back. Uh, by the way, the slides are going to be available for downloading. Okay, I later, um, later towards the end of my presentation, before we end, I'm going to give you a Facebook page, which I encourage you to go to, where you can download the slide presentation that I'm using. And it's also there where I will post the link to the recording of this talk, of this session, so that those of you who had problems with internet connection at a certain point, or I myself had a bit of difficulty with my internet connection, You can go to that video to catch whatever you may have missed. Okay. So those are two things. The slides will be available for downloading, and the link to the video recording of this talk now will also be made available there. I'll share with you the Facebook page where you can, or you can email me and I can send you the link to the files in YouTube and in slideshare.net. Okay, let's get back. Rafe Esquith said, we need this digital generation. One of the most important things they need is to develop delayed gratification. So teachers, make them do activities that will develop delayed gratification. Make them do work, projects, modeling, etc., that will make them develop delayed gratification. I'm going to share very concrete ones. For example, teachers, talk to your students about the two marshmallow experiment. You remember this experiment? A group of kids were put in a room. All of them were given two marshmallows each by the adult. And the adult told them, I'm going to leave you behind now. I'm going to leave you for a while. When I come back, you have not eaten your two marshmallows. I'm going to give you two more. But if you've already eaten your marshmallows, you're not going to get any more. Okay? And then the adult leaves the room. The kids don't realize they're being observed in a one-way mirror. Some of them immediately ate the marshmallows. No delayed gratification, no self-control, no temperance. They just gave in right away to the craving for the marshmallows. Some others did not even touch it and even resorted to strategy so that they will not eat it. They looked the other way. They did not look at the marshmallow so that they don't get tempted. Now, that's not yet the experiment. These researchers repeated that experiment to different kids with different economic backgrounds, with different upbringing, and they followed their life. 15 years later, they discovered those with delayed gratification, they did not eat the marshmallows, they were able to wait, were highly successful, above average performers, and exceptionally good. While those without delayed gratification, they have no self control, they have no temperance. Some of them were failures, below average performers, some of them even failed. No? In other words, they saw the correlation between self discipline, self control, delayed gratification, and success. We have to make the young people realize this so that they become really concerned about developing delayed gratification. Here are more strategies on how to develop delayed gratification among our students. Make them do modeling or rug project. You know those modeling where they have to glue tiny pieces together to be able to form a house, to be able to form a model of a car, to be able to form a diorama of the 20th century, turn of the century plaza in the Philippines, modeling or rug project. You make them do the map of the Philippines using rug inch by inch. They have to put the right colors in the right place. Inch by inch, a rug project where they draw the I don't know, Da Vinci's Madonna. And inch by inch, they have to carefully put the right colors in the right place. Rug project. That is delayed gratification. You cannot do that hurriedly. You have to do it carefully, inch by inch, tiny piece by tiny piece, putting the things together to be able to do the model, the diorama, the chemical bonds. Here's another strategy. Rafe Esquith said, making the students play board games like chess is a way of developing delayed gratification where you have to wait for the opponent to make the move. You cannot hurry that. You have to wait for your turn. But aside from being, okay, internet is back. But aside from waiting for your turn, you have to be a step ahead of your opponent, trying to think of what move will he make next. And if he makes that, what will I do? That is a great way to develop in them analytical skills, evaluation, aside from delayed gratification, board games, making the kids play board games. So in the classroom of Rafe Esquith, he would have chess boards that kids can use during recess or lunch or during free time. Delayed gratification. Here's another way to develop delayed gratification: jigsaw puzzles, especially those with thousands of pieces you cannot finish in one sitting. Delayed gratification. You cannot do it hurriedly. You have to study where to place every tiny little piece in the right place. Delayed gratification. And Rafe Asquith said, here's an even more powerful way to develop delayed gratification among the young people, which in many schools they don't do anymore. And yet it's such a powerful tool to develop delayed gratification: gardening. Gardening, where the kids have to water it, take care of it, make sure it gets the proper sunlight, and you cannot hurry it. I mean, you cannot hurry by let's pull the leaf out so that it starts growing right. No, delayed gratification. Teachers, anything you do that develops delayed gratification in the young people is developing character in them. Whatever subject we are handling, we can think of what activities can I make the students do that will make them develop delayed gratification. Researching, doing research work should be an act of developing delayed gratification. It cannot just be done by cut and paste from Wikipedia or from, you Google something and you have 70,000 articles to choose from. No, you have to make them be able to choose the right articles, the right sources, and carefully craft their sentences, paragraph after paragraph. That's delayed gratification. Math teachers who are here, Rafe Esquith said, you math teachers are in a position to teach one of the most crucial skills young people need to develop: problem solving skills. I mean, the skill of solving problems. That's why he even gives this as a recommendation. Go to www.mathstories.com. It has fantastic problems that you can use to teach, to make the students do, that will teach them problem solving skill. Here are more things that Rafe Esquith would do. During lunch or recess, he would make himself available to the students who want to learn how to play the guitar or the keyboard. I know some of you here are music teachers. You are in a position to teach the kids delayed gratification. Reading notes, you cannot do that hurriedly. You have to do it, understand it step by step, and they have to practice over and over and over. You have to rehearse over and over until they are able to get it. Um, that is delayed gratification. It doesn't come immediately, automatically. That is a fantastic way. So, the class of Rafe, all the students by the end of grade 5 would know how to play the guitar or the keyboard or both. That's why grade 5 in the class of Rafe Esquid becomes really life changing. Here's another strategy: make the students read The Little Prince by Antoine de Saint Exupéry. Whatever level you are in, grade 4, the fourth year high school, grade 12, even college students, even professionals, I invite you, read The Little Prince, and you're going to learn a lot of life lessons, which you read it now as a mature person and you have a deeper and different understanding of uh, only the heart can one see rightly. What is essential is invisible to the eyes. There is no shop where one can buy friendship. All those life stories which you can find in a tiny little book like this, and it's fantastic, especially life lessons. Now, Rafe Esquith asked the question: how come sometimes I make an impact in my students? Sometimes deeply, sometimes in a very shallow way. He asked the question: when are we, teachers, able to make a deep impact in the lives of our students? You know the answer he found? You know the answer? When are we teachers able to make a really deep impact in the lives of our students? And the answer is simple, according to him. When you and I, as teachers, are able to teach them life skills, skills they will need for the rest of their life, then you are going to make a deep impact in the life of your students. Not just skills to pass the quiz next week, not just not just skills to pass the unit test next month, but skills that they will need for the rest of their life. Skill, for example, on how to apply for a job, on how to make to save money. And I'm going to share with you when we get into classroom management strategies of Rafe Esquith on how to teach life skills. I don't think we will be able to cover them now, but he came up with an economic system by which Rafe was able to teach his students life skills. Play theater. You know, the bell rings at 3:30 for dismissal and people go home. But in the classroom of Rafe, students stay up to 6 in the evening to practice for a Shakespeare play. That's why he received an award from the Queen of England, the Hobart's Shakespearean Theatre. So he would make the students stay. I mean, students excitedly stay from 3:30 to 6 p.m. to rehearse for a Shakespeare play, which at the end of the year they are able to stage and they get invited all around the United States. But it's more than just a play, a theater to be able to put up a production. It's part of the delayed gratification. um, Rehearsing for a play or theater is one of the best ways to develop delayed gratification. It takes time, rehearsing over and over, memorizing the lines by repeating it over and over, doing the blocking, the movements over and over because they have to memorize it. That is delayed gratification. You cannot hurry it. It has to be step by step, little by little. Now, first memorizing the lines, then memorizing the blocking, and then getting the nuances of the story or of the play. It's a strategy of Rafe Esquith to develop delayed gratification. Here are more ideas, and I'm not going to talk about all of them now, but just look at the titles and you will start seeing, right, that's a good thing to do. Why don't we have that? A student of the year recognition. I'm going to talk about the stopwatch system in the classroom management talk. Yeah, why not? Let's have a most outstanding class advisor award. And I'm going to share with you the strategy of this, the system of that, of a class excellence award, as Northfield does it, as Southridge does it, as Bannister Academy, where I also taught, does it, and many other schools. Cooperative learning activities, performance tasks, starting a class with a workload. Teachers, it's not the bell that should start the class. It's not the bell. And it's not the students who will start the class. The class will start when you get the students to start working on a workload. That's why even on online classes, this can be done. As soon as you go online, there is something flashed on screen. What the students should be doing, should be working on immediately they get to work. That's starting a class with a workload. Class website, Class Excellence Award. We're not going to talk about them. We just have a little more than 15 minutes to go and we will end. Here are some more strategies. This one I think is from Harry Wong, um, First Days of School. I have students complaining to me, telling me, "Sir, our teacher doesn't see anything except the wrong we do. Sir, the teacher doesn't notice anything good that we do. He's only after the wrong things we do. If we do something wrong, he's going to remind us about that for the whole week." Some students, some young people also complain about this, about their parents. My mom doesn't see anything good that I do. If I make a mistake, the whole week over dinner, she will repeat that over and over. She doesn't notice that I work hard. She doesn't notice that I keep a schedule. She doesn't know. Okay, so here's a strategy to notice the good things that they do so that we can reinforce it. The good deeds bowl. I have a bowl in the on top of the table or the teacher's table, and then I tell the class, okay, class, every time, every time I catch someone doing a good thing, okay, the signal is getting weak. Sorry about that. Are we okay? Yeah, the signal is getting weak. Are we okay? Yeah, I can continue. Um, just 10 more minutes. Okay, here's the strategy of the Good Deeds Bowl. You will now start being on the lookout for good deeds that students do. Okay, so I will tell the class, okay, class, I have a bowl here in front of me, and I have some marbles. Every time I catch somebody doing a good deed, I will put a marble inside the bowl. Okay, if you cannot get marbles, you can get those small pebbles that you can pick up from the side streets. Pebbles. Or if you cannot get pebbles, you can have those tiny little pieces of paper that you put into a ball like that. And every time you catch somebody doing a good deed, you will put that marble or that piece of paper or that pebble inside the good deeds bowl. John, I saw you cleaning up your area, even if I didn't tell you. Good job. That is what it means to be responsible. You have made the class win a marble in the Good Deeds Bowl. Joanna, I saw you standing upright when I entered the classroom. Good job. That's what it means to be prepared. You have made the class win a marble for the Good Deeds Bowl. You are always looking for good deeds to notice. And the objective is to fill up the bowl with good deeds that you caught. And once you are able to fill up the bowl with good deeds, then the class is up for a class reward. Whether it is we're going to watch a movie that is related to the lesson that we are taking up, we're going to have a quiz bee, a quiz competition. The class will be divided into two groups, and we will compete. The questions will come from the what we have been discussing in the classroom. um, Rewards that the students would like to get, or even just a reward of 15 minutes of free time I'm going to give you in the class. You can read a book, you can watch a video, you can discuss with your classmates. 15 minutes of free time if we are able to fill up this bowl with good deeds. Okay, then the students now will try to outdo each other doing good. I love a class where students try to compete with each other in doing good deeds. That becomes a fantastic class because they know the teacher is on the lookout for good deeds. So it's a strategy from Harry Wong, where you encourage the young people to do good, and they will now start trying to outdo each other in doing good. They want to fill up the bowl with good deeds. In other words, merit or reward system is far better than punishment system. You stand a better chance of getting the students to do what you want them to do when they are working to get a reward. As a class, not individual rewards, but as a class to receive recognition, to receive merits, to receive a reward, and they are going to um, try to outdo each other in doing the right thing. In other words, you start creating a different class culture and identity that they are going to start doing good because this is how we do things in our classroom, because this is what we do. We reward good deeds. We acknowledge good deeds. It's a kind of mindset, and you will not have students complaining My teacher doesn't see anything except the wrong things we do. Our teacher doesn't see anything except our mistakes. No, in our class, we acknowledge good deeds, we acknowledge effort. Here's another strategy, and this is also from Harry Wong. If earlier you have the good deeds bowl, this one is trophy technique. Trophy technique, it can be literally a trophy, or it can be a certificate, or it can just be written on the board. How does it work? Okay, class, this week, the row, you have students arranged in rows. The row that performed the best in quizzes, that recited the most, that was always orderly this week is, and then you announce, row number two, the trophy this week belongs to row number two. Let's see which row is going to have the trophy next week. In other words, the trophy will belong to the row that was always most orderly, that is always most cooperative, supportive, participative, and even worked the hardest in getting perfect scores, good grades. You now have rows of students trying to compete with each other, trying to outdo each other in reciting, in participating, in cleaning, in being orderly. I love a classroom where students are trying to outdo each other in doing good. It works. It works because the students are very competitive, especially the younger they are, the more competitive they are. They want to have the trophy. They want to have the prestige of being able to announce we had the trophy for the longest time in the class of Mr. So and so, in the class of Miss So and so. I love a class where students try to outdo each other in doing the good thing. Okay, well, it's 4:50. As I said, most likely we will not be able to cover all the strategies. Tomorrow, I'm going to continue with the strategies from Hal Urban because that is where we will leave off now. Um, I want to spend the last few minutes doing some announcements before I get cut off by the problematic internet. I hope I'll be able to find a solution to this tomorrow. But anyway, so here it is. Um, Sorry about that. Let me see. Okay. Um, Yeah. Today, we talked about the crisis among the young people. And the solution to the crisis is let's raise these young people to be smart and good with character, men and women of character. When I talk to students around the Philippines and I'm addressing students, here's what I tell them: you young people are not the problem. Old people complain about your sense of entitlement, your softness, your culture, technocentric lifestyle. People complain about that. But you are not the problem. You're the solution to the problem. If you young people grow up to be good people, men and women of character, you will change society. You will find solution to this corruption that we hear of in politics, in government, you are going to fix up society, not just here, but everywhere else. I tell the young people they are our solution, they are our hope. The crisis I presented to you is telling us there are two roads ahead of you, dear teachers. One is a road that leads to a place where people have no character. They abuse each other there, they step on each other there, they have no patience. They have no kindness among each other. Here's another road that leads to a place where people have character. They're not all geniuses. That's why they support each other. The better ones support those who are weaker ones. They help out each other. There's a lot of friendship, camaraderie, and the kindness and caring among each one. But the road leading there needs teachers who will form the character of the young people, parents who will get involved in the formation of these young people. Which road are we going to choose? This one that leads to character will require more effort. more strategies, more additional things to what we do inside the classroom. But it's worthwhile because we want to create a generation of young people who will have respect, responsibility, caring, and kindness. So, the invitation, the seminar today is really nothing else, dear teachers, but an invitation to all of you. Let us be the best teachers that we can possibly be because this is a very urgent thing. The young people need us now more than ever. Okay, all of you are going to receive a certificate that is considered as international seminar signed by Dr. Licona and myself. If you need the certificate right away because some of you are applying for your uh, renewal of teacher's license, then send me an email right away. Otherwise, the certificates are going to be emailed in bulk to the coordinator who did the reservation for your seminars this week. Okay. But as I said, if some of you suddenly on Wednesday need the certificate already for the session today, please do email me at catalystpds@gmail.com with your name as you wanted to appear in the certificate and the title of the seminar. And then the slide presentation I just used today can be downloaded and many other fantastic reading materials in this great Facebook page, Better Teachers, Better Schools, www.facebook.com/groups/schools of character. Or you can actually just go to Facebook, type Schools of Character, one word. Chances are you'll be able to see this heading. And there, ask to join. And then when you're inside, scroll down and download all the books that are available there for you, materials, reading materials, as well as the slide presentations of all the seminars of this week. And then maybe a little later on, because I need time to process the video, I'm also going to post there the link to the recording of our session this afternoon. Tomorrow, we will go into creating a kind and caring classroom, a whole new gamut of strategies you can use inside the classroom, or even some of them um, on your for your online classes. Um, and I will not spend as much time in principles. We go straight into strategies and strategies. 2 hours of discussion of strategies on how to create a kind and caring classroom. Okay, so that ends our session today. I hope you don't mind, but some people like to see their face appearing in the screen, which we will. So, can I invite you to open your videos so that I can take a screenshot of all the people who are here with us today? I think it's 6 pages, and so bear with me. You will have to smile for a long time. Smile, three, two, and one. Okay, that's page one. Let's go to page two. You can open your screens and give that biggest, widest, fakest smile. And in spite of the internet problems, we're smiling. Okay, page three now. Let's take a screenshot. Um, our friends from Portugal, I know it's very early morning there. They had to wake up very early to join us today. Okay, page five, page four, one, two, three, smile. And finally, page six, um, of the 107 or so participants, smile. Thank you very much. Okay, well, my sincerest apologies for the lagging internet. If you have any question that you want me to address, to what you want me to answer, and we will start by answering them tomorrow, please do send me an email, catalystpds@gmail.com. And I hope the session today has been useful for you. I really appreciate very much your joining me. And I continue praying that tomorrow Smart and Globe will be more cooperative. I know I lagged a bit in some parts of our session. Okay, Thank you very much. Those greeting happy birthday. Thank you for remembering. Thank you for knowing my secret. And I'll see you again tomorrow. We start on the dot, 3 p.m. And I think that would be 7 a.m. in Portugal, a little later on in Australia, and 2.5 hours behind in Sri Lanka. But I appreciate very much your joining us today. Thank you. Email me if you have any question that you want me to address as soon as we begin our session tomorrow. God bless everyone. See you again tomorrow. Have a good rest. Have a good day for those of you in Portugal. You're just beginning your day. And it's fantastic seeing you here today. Okay, I'm going to end the meeting in 5, 4, 3. God bless everyone. 2, stay safe. And 1.